Yo, what up? What it do? What's good? How y'all feeling, man? What we gonna talk about today? We're gonna react, right? We're gonna react. It's Saturday morning. You know what I'm saying? Got the brunch coming up. So, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna react. We're gonna react to this video. Um, I was gonna do it yesterday. It was kind of busy, and I think this is the Scott Van Pelt interview with Terry McLaurin that aired Thursday night, I believe, 11 p.m. So we're gonna react to it. We're gonna react to it. I heard it was a good interview. I haven't watched it yet, so this is my first time watching it. Usually, when I react to these interviews, press conferences, I don't watch it before I react to it. So it's new for me, and I kind of give you all a few hours or maybe even day to watch it. So when I pause and I talk about it a little bit, y'all won't get frustrated. So, yeah, man. On the other side of this, we are going to chop it up. We're gonna watch we're gonna react to the interview, Terry McLaurin and Scott Van Pelt.
Shout out Red Zone Lab Podcast.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's Benjamin St. Jude's, DB for the Washington Commanders. I want to give a big shout out to Red Zone and the Lab Podcast.
Yo, what up? Welcome back. Red Zone in the Lab Podcast. I am Deuce. We about to react to this video, man. We about to react to this interview with Scott Van Pelt and Terry McLaurin. Have any of you seen it yet? If you have seen it, what's your thoughts on it? Don't tell me about it, you know what I'm saying? Just what's your thoughts on it? Happy birthday to Champ Bailey for sure. That was a trade we need to talk about one day. But what's y'all thoughts, man? What's y'all thoughts? All right, let's look at these comments. Radar was good. What's up, Key? Slim in the building. Was good, man. I see the chat going crazy. What they talking about, Slim? What they talking about in the chats, man? Let's get to it, man. We're gonna wait for a few more people to get in here. And tomorrow morning, Lou Holder was in the lab. We're going to drop that episode tomorrow morning. We talked a lot, we did talk Commanders, of course. And we also talked about Willie Mays and the Negro League and all those good things that's happening. We kind of talked about that quite a bit in the beginning. So that's going to drop tomorrow. So definitely, that was a good one. That was a good episode. Definitely check that out tomorrow. It's going to air tomorrow at 10 a.m. All right, let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. But I do before we get started, I do want to talk about something we was kind of talking about the other day, and we gonna get started. Last year, last year's regime and this year's, because like you may hear someone say, we had 4 wins last year, so that's my bar. Because we had 4 wins last year. This team only had 4 wins last year. Last year's team had 4 wins last year, right? Like last year's team had 4 wins. And I know every situation is different, but us specifically, right? We have about, I don't know, close to probably 90% turnover. And not just the roster, but from ownership all the way down to whatever the person is. Right? Like there has been probably over 90% turnover. You, you, you cannot have that much of a turnover and base your expectations off of what happened last year. Yes, that was a 4-win team. Now, I'm not saying you can't say this is going to be a 4-win team, right? Like, I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that at all. Um, what I'm saying is because of we have all new coaches, right? I think we have what over 40, 50 something new players. Everything is changing. The playbooks is changing. The schedules, the practice schedules is changing. The training schedules is changing. Probably the nutrition part of the organization that's changing. Like everything is changing. Everything is brand new. And I do believe that continuity plays a big part in success. I think it's very important for you to have an understanding and have some type of rapport with the person next to you. Having an understanding of what their responsibilities are, how they do this, how they do that. Right? Let's say, for instance, the center and the quarterback is working together for the first time. Right? The center needs to get a rapport with the cadence of the quarterback. That's important. Like we can't just overlook that. That's very important to understand the cadence and understand the cadence in warm weather and cold weather, in the rain and the snow, when it's beautiful outside. The center has to understand the cadence, especially when you're at an away game. So all of these things is important, and this goes into like how you feel about this team, like the projection of this team, because everything is new. You cannot look at last year and say because of last year this team is going to do this. That doesn't make any sense for us because we have so much turnover, not only on the field but also in the building. But you look at other teams, right? Like the Eagles in our division, right? They had some turnover as far as like, I think coordinators, some players, but they still pretty much have their core players intact. So you could kind of look at last year and base it off, give your projection off last year, what they did in the off season and what, kind of project what they're going to do this year. But for us, it's all different. Everything is brand new. It's a new era. It's a new era. But again, the center and the quarterback, right? The middle linebacker and the safety, right? He has to understand the people around him. The green dot has to understand the tendencies of the people around him. I need to gauge their speed. I need to know if I need to put them 2 yards to the hash or 3 yards. Because I understand the speed that they move. I understand how they react. That stuff takes time. And you really can't learn it in practice because they're not going full speed. but you kind of get an idea. So a lot of these things that they're doing in practices, I think joint practice is going to be very, very important. But again, even those are controlled. Preseason, they may or may not play. They might not play enough. But once the season gets rolling around, like it's 60 minutes, you're going to play the whole game. So these things you begin to learn of that person as the season goes on, what they can and what they cannot do. So using that and saying, well, yeah, they're probably going to get 4 wins. To me, that makes sense. Instead of saying because of the 4 wins last year, that's the bar. The bar can still be 4 wins. It's just the reasoning why you're saying the bar is 4 wins is where I disagree. Let's check some of these comments. CeeLo in the building. Kayla Belante, what's good, man? You know what I mean? So it's like last year is over. Like we're totally different than some other teams that didn't have a huge turnover. Like other teams can do that. I'm not saying you can't do that across the board. I'm just talking about teams that have heavy turnover, like us. We have roster turnover, crazy amount. You got like what, over 50 new players? The front office is brand new. The ownership is brand new. The kitchen is brand new. The field people probably is brand new. The scouts, like it's a complete turnover. So we can't really base last year's record, last year running game, last year's passing game, last year's situational awareness and apply it to this year because none of those people are here anymore. The way they did things is the way they did it. They are not here anymore. But I understand people say, well, that's the bar. Like you got to be better than that. That's a low bar. That's a very low bar. But again, I'm not saying you cannot say the bar for this team is 4 wins. It's just your reasoning why is where I disagree. But yeah, we ain't gonna be here before you very long. Let's get into it, man. Slim is in the bazilding. CeeLo is good. Kayla Latte. We're about a month away, man. Well, over a month. Well, it is a month away because I think the rookies report the 18th. The rookies report the 18th training camp, and the veterans report the 23rd, I believe. And I think the first day of training camp is the 28th. I'm planning to be there the 29th and the 30th. The other days I'm just going to be out of town. And the reason why, so the reason why we have it's like a week less than previous years. You got to remember, it's only 3 preseason games, and this year we have 2 away games, and both of those away games we're having joint practices. So because we're having joint practices, the team has to leave early to get situated, blah blah blah. So that takes away days from training camp. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, they taking away our days. We don't have as many days, blah blah blah. Like it's nothing they can. I mean, you know. I think what 7 days. I think 2 days are VIP, and then the rest is public. Like you got to get in one of them days. Try to get in one of them days. What's up, Chuck? I won't be before you long. Heard that. All right, man. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. right, let's go. Let me know if y'all can hear too.
We've been threatening one another with this for a couple of years, it feels like. Terry McLaurin in studio with us. I'm grateful that you took the time to come in. It's a home game, at least. You're local, but we saw each other at an event a couple to have a conversation. And now I'm grateful.
All right, so it seems like Scott Van Pelt was trying to get Terry in for the interview for the last couple of years. That's good to hear. He said they're local. I think Scott Van Pelt is in New York now. I think he was here before, but I think he has some family things going on. And ESPN moved him and Tony Bialis. I forgot. I had a hard time pronouncing his last, but the guy that does Around the Horn, he's also up that way. They also moved him, but Scott Van Pelt they moved him. I think he was there's some personal things with his family, and they moved them to New York. So that's what he mean by they're local.
That you took the time to come in. It's a home game, at least. You're local, but we saw each other at an event feels like it was 2 years ago. Maybe it was last year. We just said, come on in and come through and let's have a conversation. And now post OTAs, we get our opportunity. Thank you for coming in.
Scott, I appreciate you for having me. Like, since I've been a young kid, I've loved SportsCenter, especially you. And I remember our first interview was after a Eagles game, and I was like, I want to come in. I know you want to talk to me, but I want to come in and hang out with you. So I appreciate your time.
Well, we're local, and anytime you want to come through, we're happy to talk a little bit of football. And post OTAs with what's going on with the team, it felt like that was our on-ramp for this conversation. Yeah. New coach, new GM, new quarterback. And Jayden Daniels got a lot of excitement coming in with a Heisman Trophy. And, in the area, people are like, let's go. They're ready to buy in.
Yeah.
What have you seen? I know in the bubble, in shorts, and the same thing as in the snow in Philadelphia in January, but you get a glimpse. What have you seen from the young man?
I think the first thing that stood out to me about Jayden Daniels is the poise he came into the first day in the building. By the time the rookies got there, we pretty much had 4 or 5 installs in. And I think Coach Kingsbury did a great job of trying to integrate everybody at the same time. So when the rookies got there, we started from ground one, but it seemed like he knew the entire offense when we got there. He's in there calling the huddles through the walkthroughs. He's in there calling the plays, and he's extremely confident.
So this is some things like we hear pieces and pieces of it about Jayden Daniels and him coming in, controlling the offense and the work ethic and all those things. So like Terry is saying, like when he got there, right? When they reported, Jayden is far along. Like he's been studying. You could tell from what Terry is saying that he's been studying the playbook. So from the time he received the paper, you could tell he's been studying the playbook. That matters a lot, especially from a young kid. And I know maturity levels varies, right? And I'm talking about like day-to-day maturity of a person. It varies from person to person, right? But then you start adding elements into it, right? You add in, age. You add in your bring up, your childhood. You add in like the history of your family. You add in where you work. You add in all different types of stuff, right? You add all different types of stuff. And with Jayden, like you add in Heisman Trophy winner. You add in the time at ASU when they was having all that drama down there. You add in the stuff that came out about his mom and all. Like maturity varies from person to person. And what we do know is what we do know is as you get older, you mature more. Like you mature. The speed of that maturity is what differs, right? But everyone matures as they get older. Life forces you to mature, but the speed of it is where everything differs.
And it's a testament to his preparation and his studying that he did on his own.
Mhm.
But also, I just think the kid loves ball and he has a good feel for the game. So I think he really came in with the right mindset and energy, and guys are already gravitating to him.
It's really difficult in this league for rookies at this position to have success. Although C.J. Stroud, where did he go to school?
Ohio State.
The Ohio State University. He came in, and we talked to him about that last year. He's a young man leading a group of grown men, and he was fantastic. To give a rookie at that position the best chance to be successful quickly, Terry, what do you feel like you all have to do?
Honestly, I think a big part of it comes from the makeup of that quarterback. To be honest, I think I have a history with C.J. Stroud, just knowing him and getting to know him and what he's made up of and the adversity he went through at Ohio State, and it built him for what he was ready for now. And I think Jaden Daniels has a similar story to where he started out at Arizona State, goes to LSU, has a good first year, but that second year he takes off, man, and he wins the Heisman. He has them in contention for the playoffs, and he's just used to winning and used to what it looks like to be a really successful player. And as a leader and as his wide receiver, I would just want to be the best player I can for him. So I'm going to push him. I know he's going to push me, but I think you don't have to tell him what to do when it comes to practice. Like he's
So Reed, what's good, Reed? Right, Terry, that dude for sure. For sure. What's up, James? Terry, Terry, I don't like that.
Out there early.
There you go. Terry mentioned he's going to push him, and he want him to push him. But let's just focus on the Terry part. Terry, two things Terry wanted going into the next season, what he wanted to work on this offseason. Two things. Rack, run out the catch, right? He wants to get more yardage after the catch. He wants to go upfield more. I don't know if you all seen, but he's running a couple weeks ago. It was a lot of drills that he was doing, was getting the ball going upfield. And he's been doing that all practice. Getting the ball, making moves, not just catching the ball, turning up, getting the ball, making a move, and trying to get upfield. Run out the catch. That's one of the things he wanted to focus on. The other thing was leadership. He wanted to be a better hands-on leader. Not saying he wasn't a leader. People like Terry, John Allen, those guys are watch me work leaders. Watch me work leaders. And sometimes watch me work leaders does not work if you don't have you need to do your job type leaders. Like Bobby Wagner, Zach Ertz. Those guys are you need to do your job type leaders. You need those leaders so the leaders that lead by example can also be a benefit. But Terry wants to be more of a do your job type leader. He wants to be more vocal. That's why you hear reports, and I've been told that he's spending a lot of time with those wide receivers in their ear, making sure they're doing things right. One-on-ones with them, staying late after practice, being that voice even for the defense. That's what he wants to be. And I think, and not sure, I'm just speculating, a lot of this started coming out after the time that he spent with Magic. So this is the Terry coming into this year. It might be a Terry we haven't really seen before.
He's getting warmed up. And if he doesn't like a rep that went down in practice, he's like, hey, Terry, let's come over here. Let's get this rep again.
Run it back.
And run it back. And I think that's a testament to his work ethic and how he tries to prepare each and every day in practice, because he treats every practice and every rep like it's a game rep situation.
As one of the top wideouts in the league, obviously you want to try to create that bond and that chemistry with this young guy. I've been reading about that, putting in this work. How important is that? Just very quickly, just to get an idea, him for you and you for him, so that when we get to September and you play Tampa Bay to start your season, like you all are on that same page. What goes into that? Honestly,
I think it first starts to get to know the person. And him and I we got to talk when he got drafted, and we've gotten to get to know each other over this off-season time. And
so it's important, excuse me for interrupting, but just knowing the human being just before you, and like the football's the football, but just getting to have that vibe as human beings.
Yes, 100%, because I think with any line of work that you're in, it's still about the people. It's still about the connection. It's still about getting to know one another, the person that you're going to be going to work with, or in our case, you're going to battle. You know what I mean? And you got to know, he has to be able to trust I'm going to be where I'm going to be when he needs me to be there. Like, I'm going to be at the spot. I'm not going to cut my depth short. I'm not going to fade away on an in cut and let the DB undercut me. Like, he has to trust that I'm going to do my job, and I have to trust that he's going to do his. And I think that really starts when you get to know someone, because you get to learn what they're about. You get to learn their whys and why they put the time and the effort into what they're doing. And then it's honestly easier when you have that connection to be honest. You know what I mean? Like, we don't take any conversation that we have in our building amongst teammates personal, because we know our brothers are looking out for us.
How many times have we heard that? We don't take our conversations in the building between players personal. That tells me that they're in that locker room, or they're in there talking, or in the weight room or whatever. Nah, you doing this wrong. This is not right. You should do this way. I've tried it this way. Why don't you try it this way? Now, sometimes, you plan a little bit too much. Like, there's a time to do it and a time not to. Right now, we're trying to focus on getting better. Look, you too far away from Cliff. You need to come in a little closer so you can hear what he's telling this player and this player. And they're not taking it personal. And we talked about this earlier about learning each other. That's going to take time. It's going to take time learning each other. We talked about the center and the quarterback, but here Terry is talking about him and the quarterback. They have to trust each other, that they're going to be in the right spot. And at first, that comes with knowing the spot you're supposed to be in, having a clear understanding of where you're supposed to be, first of all. Everyone needs to have that understanding. And then how the receiver gets there, how the quarterback puts it there, them two have to be on the same page. If I'm supposed to be putting this outside sideline shoulder, then you need to run a crisp route. If I'm supposed to put a low inside leg, then you can bend off a little bit. But that comes with time, y'all. Like, it comes with time. You cannot do that on a drill, a wide receiver drill, right? You barely can do that in a preseason game. That's going to take time because they're new. All of this is new. The center, the snap, the quarterback, the drop, the progressions, the throw, the catch, the run. All of this is going to be new. You got to have patience.
They just want the best for not only us, but the entire team. So I think he exudes that. And our personal relationship, I think, is really going to help us and our entire group as we go forward.
I told you about my guy, Tim Legler. His one must moving forward is that you must get the ball that first series, and you can tell your quarterback that, and you can tell your new coach and your new OC, Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury. 1-7 needs to be getting the ball steady on the regular from the jump.
First drive.
What's different about? I mean, it's all different, but in terms of being a new head coach,
even Scott knows it's all different.
What is the most important thing to try to establish? Everyone's going to say build culture. Where does that start?
I think it starts with the message from our coaching staff. And I think Coach Quinn, the first few days we came in, we didn't really talk about X's and O's. We talked about getting to know one another. We talked about the connection between players and why we're all in here and how do you get all these guys from different walks of life. We have coaches, Coach Lynn, who's been a head coach, to Coach Kingsbury, who's been a head coach. We got so much experience. Bobby Wagner, we got a gold jacket walking in our building. You know what I mean? So it's like so many different elements that make up a team, but the foundation is built through the work that you put in each and every day. So we've had that training and time to spend with one another since things got started.
At Yingling, America's oldest brewery.
We brew a beer for every taste. Which one you choose is up to you.
Yingling, the oldest brewery in America.
I think of you still as a young man because you are, but I see a 6 next to your name. You've been around for a bit.
Yeah.
And you've been, frankly.
Remember, I think, was Terry a 5th year senior? What's up, Ash? James say, Jay Eagles podcaster, Dan Cilio did his NFC East prediction, had us win NFC East. Wow, James, I'm surprised. Big Simp was good, man. It was good. I'm surprised. So Terry's been in the league 6 years. I think he's approaching what he's 28, 29, something like that. I think he was a super senior.
Through some struggles, not you, this team. We know what it's been. We know that you guys are just trying to find that traction that leads to the trajectory. How do you give these guys a bit of grace and patience?
Yeah.
And at the same time, like, look, I'm running out of time here to be patient. I want to win now. How do you balance that?
Honestly, I think I try to stay in my process. And I think when I was young, like, you look around guys in the league and your peers, you're like, man, I could do what they're doing.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I think people can't necessarily appreciate as a receiver. I feel like you play probably one of the most dependent. It's one of the most dependent positions on the field because from the play calling to you have to be able to know what you're doing and get open, and the offensive line has to do their job, quarterback and all those things. But I think for me, I've really gotten comfortable being uncomfortable. You know what I mean? I don't try to stress who's going to be back there at quarterback, but just knowing
that's so sad. I feel so bad for him. Yeah. Seriously, I've got comfortable with being uncomfortable. Doesn't matter who back there. That's tough. That is tough, people.
That I'm going to be prepared when my number is called. And so it's kind of like a no excuse mentality where all those things are factors in their pieces to the puzzle, but I'll never hang my hat and use that as an excuse from the unpredictability it's been at times.
I feel like your position is one where a healthy bit of ego is required.
Yeah.
When you look at these numbers right here, and you look at the dudes that you're on that list with: Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, you. 75 and $1,000 each of the last 4 seasons. That speaks to a high level of high achievement and consider.
All right. And we know he had to get like 5 wide receiver screens last year to get 1,000, right? All right, I get it. And I think his rookie year, he had like 9 something. And then his sophomore year, I think he was hurt and he didn't play the last 2 games. And I think he ended with 9 something. So he would have what was that 1 year? How many years has he had 1,000 straight yards? I will have to look it up. But I think that's how it went down. In the last 4 years, he's been over 1,000 yards. The first season, I think he missed it by a few yards. The second season, sophomore year, I think he missed the last 2 games. And he didn't get to it, but he could have if he would have played. The one thing that's different between Terry and these guys on this list and all the other people call great wide receivers and better than Terry, it's not just a quarterback. Like, I think the quarterback is kind of a lazy reason, even though we know he had horrible quarterbacks, but so did a lot of these other guys that still produce in the sense, right? And we can look at him, you can look at him. And he's kind of been the number one guy. It's not like anyone was even worth taking any of his targets. I mean, we had offensive coordinators here that just did not want to make him feature. And all these other top guys that you see, like, they get double teamed, they get over, they get shadowed, they get pinched, they get all that. But the coordinators still make it a point to get them involved, rather it's moving them around, putting them on option routes, handing them the ball, whatever it takes. I'm going to get my best player involved. So don't tell me because he's been doubled and shadowed and all that. No. OC has to the OC has to put him in positions to be successful. Move him around, motions, pick plays, all those different types. Matter of fact, a couple years ago, I was so upset. We did we had Terry to be the pick guy in the end zone. I think that was was that the Colts game? No, the Titans game. When it was like a few seconds left. B-Rob for how's Terry the pick guy? Like, why is he the pick guy? Like that's it's just insane to me. And the other thing is his targets over the last few years is less than those guys. I think last year he had 100 and something. And touchdowns. That's another thing is touchdowns. Terry doesn't get a lot of touchdowns. If you give Terry plus 4 touchdowns the last 4 years, he's definitely in more of the casuals fans top 10 because we know how other defensive backs around the league feels about Terry McLaurin.
That speaks to a high level of high achievement and consistency. Folks might not know.
Oh, hold on, we got it right here. Hold on, let me see. Definitely top 10. That's right, Reed. Different quarterback every year. 9-19. The rest of that. Okay, so he had 9-19 the first year. Okay. Yep, top 10. Yeah, they do it, and some don't. Like you can look at different situations, James, and see, Terry might be in the same situation. Like, I think we did that, but for us, we understand who Terry is and what he can bring to a team. All right.
That you'd be the answer. That you're number 4 on that list.
100%.
What kind of fuel does that provide? It's a team sport, but you play a very individual position. So I just wonder what the sort of the motivation was there.
Definitely. I think the balance is knowing, like, I feel like when I'm involved in the game, in the not only my level of play that I bring to our team, but the energy and the leadership. And when I make a play, I feel like not only our team feels it, but the whole building feels it. Like, I've been in games where I can hear the fans, Terry, because I haven't got the ball yet. And I love that support. And I just try to be ready when my number is called. And you want to be looked at as one of the top receivers in the league. I don't play this game not only not for the money and not for the notoriety, but I play to win championships and be the best at my craft. And I'm making sure that
Terry's playing to win. What's up, Smoke? Smoking a beer. Yeah, pro is pro for sure. And he a dog too. He's playing to win champion. Like he wants to win. He wants to win, man. Like he wants to win. Let's just hope he don't want to win. Let's hope we can do that for him.
I put the time and work in, so I'm prepared for those moments. But at the same time, knowing that I have to be able to raise my level of play and bring other guys along with me if we're going to be successful. And I think our coaching staff has done a great job of keeping things simple. We haven't overcomplicated anything this offseason. We've gotten to know each other, and the offense has really been installed in a way where guys can be on the same page and really start to grow from the ground up. And I just want to be that catalyst for our team in the locker room, on the field, and off the field, because that's who I prepare to be each and every day. That's who I feel like I was born to be.
This is a low-hanging fruit question, but I'm sincerely interested in the answer. Success for the Washington Commanders this year.
Yeah.
What's that in your mind as we talk in the middle of June? What's that look like? What feels like a reasonable thing to say, look, we can take a step.
Before we go let's give Scott SVP some praise, man. Let's give him some praise, man. Like, man, he was advocating for that other guy to get out of there. He was advocating for that guy to sell the team. He was advocating, and his voice is large. Like, his voice is large. Like, you think about David Letterman and all those other dudes that do those late night talk shows. That's huge. Conan, like, all them dudes are huge. That's who he is. That's who SVP in the sports world is, just as big as those guys. He has a huge voice. He's from here. He's a Commanders fan. Like, we need those guys in the national media. And he's right there. He has a huge voice. Yes, winning is going to help us to climb back to what we once knew. And all of these guys like him that love the team, that's from here, their voice is going to help they're gonna be pushing it out. Producers of these shows, these people up in the executive building, we need them to be Commanders fans. That's where it comes from. Shout out SVP, man. Appreciate your work. You talk about Stuart Scott, James Brown, right? You talk about those guys, man. Like, he's in those conversations. Man, I miss Stuart Scott, man. Shout out Stuart Scott.
And do this.
Yeah. Honestly, and I'm not going to even go into record because
I'm not asking you that.
Yeah, and there's so many things I feel like that go into that people don't appreciate. I think that's the standard in which people look at their record. But I think offensively, you'll see an offense this year who's playing with a lot of energy, who's playing together, who's playing unbelievable out the ball. If I were to show you our practice clips, you see guys who don't have the ball running down the field to get a block. That's been an emphasis from Cliff and our entire offensive staff. And we've seen some other teams, San Francisco, to mention one of them, they play great without the ball. And I think that's a testament
the ball. I love it.
to the unselfishness that you have to have success as an offense. There's only one ball that could go around, but if you got guys who are playing hard without the ball in their hand, and when they do have the ball in their hand, they're protecting it, they're making cuts, they're trying to do something with it, you're going to have success. And defensively, it's been tough going against them in the spring so far, even though we ain't got pads on, because they're tenacious. And I think Coach Witt and obviously Coach Quinn, they're emphasizing turnovers. So you got guys flying all over the field, getting picks,
Let's
trying
go.
to punch the ball out. It's just a tenacity that I feel like that we possibly missed in the past that I feel like is really there.
Right on.
And when you got guys focused.
Ain't nobody been tenacious. Ain't nobody been flying around the ball. Ain't nobody been trying to get picks at OTAs with no equipment on. It's your first time seeing it, Terry?
Focused on one mission, who have the connection that I feel like we're building, who have the practice and the work ethic and the good habits we're trying to form in this time. And then you got guys going out there who love football and love to compete. I think you have a chance to be successful. So I think those foundational pieces that may not show up on the wins-loss score, but it definitely adds to the bigger puzzle. So I think if we continue doing those things as we go into this offseason, you're trusting everybody's going to do their job and be ready to come back for camp. And so we can get this thing rolling.
I wish for you, first and foremost, good health to continue building on this remarkable career that you're in the process of writing. And then second, we're all from somewhere and I'm from here. And there are a whole lot of folks like me that have just been waiting to jump back on that bandwagon and see Washington get back to where they've been in the.
Listen, I have not seen this yet. I have not watched no clips. The only thing that I did was when it first came on, I took a quick screenshot and I got out of it. I ain't hear it. The volume wasn't even up. But what did I just say? What did I just say? There are people in the industry that's waiting for us to be successful. They are waiting. They are waiting.
On this remarkable career that you're in the process of writing. And then second, we're all from somewhere and I'm from here. And there are a whole lot of folks like me that have just been waiting to jump back on that bandwagon and see Washington get back to where they've been in the past. You make it real easy to root for, man. Congrats on the success and good luck this year.
I appreciate it, Scott. I'm looking forward to the season. I think you're going to see a great Commanders team this year.
Terry McLaurin.
Yeah. Right? Like, I did not there are people. Scott Van Pelt is huge in this industry. He's important. He's an icon. He's a living legend. He is telling you that there are people in this industry that have been waiting for this team to bring back the success. He did not say fans of the team. He did not say grew up with the team. He said people are waiting for this team to be successful. Yeah. Let's do it. I love it. Come on. He said it. I said there are people, Commander fans, football fans, historians that understand that this team from DC, if they are successful, the NFL is in a much better place. We had more fans, or just as many fans as Dallas. Got us, got Pittsburgh. You know, you have those teams that's been around for a long time, and this team has fans from all over the world that all jump ship because of the other guy. And they're all beginning to come back. Even the ones that are even the people that you see on social media that's fans of other teams, they spend the majority of their time on social media talking about the Commanders, what we're doing, what we're not doing, who we signed, why we didn't sign this guy. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. They spending the majority of their time talking about the Commanders. They know more about the Commanders than you and I do because they spend just as much time, maybe even more, talking and learning about what we're doing. The reason being is they grew up Redskins fans. Their family was Redskins fans. Their uncles were Redskins fans. They have pictures with them having on Redskins sweatpants. But you went to school, this team sucked, you tired of getting teased, so you switched teams, knowing deep down in heart you haven't missed a Redskins Washington football team Commanders game since you understood TV. You've been watching it since you was 2 years old, from what you can remember. Scott Van Pelt is talking about you. You're right now, you were excited last year when we got the new owner. I knew you were. You can hear it. I can see it, right? This team has a number 2 pick, Heisman Trophy winner that everyone is high on. He's showing you everything he's supposed to show you, where he's supposed to at, where's he supposed to be at in shorts and shorts. He has shown you that. He has surpassed your expectations. He's on par to do great things as of right now from shorts and shirts on. You're excited. Oh, I'm excited for the Commanders. I hope the Commanders do good. Like, I think y'all going to do, because you're a Commanders fan. You would never hear me say, I want the Eagles to do good. I want the Giants to do good. I want the Ravens to do good. I want the Bengals to do good. I want the Bears to do good. I want the Bengals to do good. I want the Dolphins to do good. I want the Bills to do good. I want the Falcons to do good. You would never hear me say, I want any NFL team to do good, because the fact of the matter is, I want you to do bad because I want my team to win the Super Bowl. So why would I want your team to be good unless I am a fan? Make it make sense. You're just trying to figure out a way. You're just trying to figure out a way to humble yourself. How can I humble myself in front of all these people I've been talking so much trash to? How can I humble myself? How can I humble myself to get back on the ship? All y'all that hung in there. All y'all that hung in there through all the bull, through all the crap. I commend you. I salute you. Hope deferred maketh the heart sick. When the joy cometh, it is as a tree of life. We have had hope for this team to be good consistently for decades. It was put off. It was deferred. It was held. But when it comes, all that heartache, it's going to be all worth it, man. Because your joy from that heartache is not going to be able to be contained. You're not going to be able to be contained. You're going to be screaming and yelling and excited about your team, about football, talking trash. You're going to want to do it all. Know if you are casual or whatever, don't know nothing, whatever. You're going to be excited. And you're going to be walking around with your Commanders gear on. You're going to be walking around with your head held high. You're going to be head nodding other Commanders fans that got on that. And if anybody else come around, you ain't going to tell no other team we want you to be successful. We're going to tell you anybody, anywhere, anytime can get it. That's where we at. That's where we at. That's where we want to be. And it's coming. It's coming. The NFL going to make sure of it. Ain't that right, URE? They going to make sure of it, right? Go to some of these comments. We got it in us, just need that staff to prove it. SVP College Park. Yeah, man. She had that Maryland on that in the thumbnail I did. Yeah, man. Yep. What's up, Jared? Ree. Yeah, man. Look, that Commanders log. That Commanders log showed you Adam Peters. It was all about Adam Peters. It wasn't about Dan Quinn. It wasn't about Jarvis Hurst. It was all about Adam Peters. It was specifically all about, because trust me, they had tons of film they didn't use. Tons of it. But it wanted to show the fan base that we're in good hands. And they specifically wanted to show his interactions with Howie Roseman. Specifically to let you know that it doesn't matter who it is, who is respected across the NFL. They're not going to take advantage of us. They're not. I'm not going to get fleeced. I'm not going to do any of these. We're going to get what we want. No, I don't want 178. I want 161. All right, bet. Call me back then. Because I'm gonna pick a player. Call back in like what? 6-7 seconds? All right, cool. And then he called him all these type of names after he hung up on him. Ooh, okay, Jerry. I see you. Oh, boy, let's go. Yeah, it's going to pay off, man. It's going to pay off, man. Hey, look, man. It's possible, man. Yeah, what's up, Mitch? Yeah, man, for sure. For sure. Yeah, man. Keep on. All right, so since you put it out there, I'll tell the story. I don't think Riri liked football, paid attention to football. She got married. Husband was a Commanders fan, Redskins fan. So, she watched the game. She got involved, blah, blah, the whole married thing. Became a Redskins fan. And, even after divorce, like she said, she still became a Commanders fan. So the moral of the story is it wasn't for her or the kids. It was that she ended up becoming a Commanders fan, right? That's how that worked. Forget the kids. It's all about the Commanders. It's okay. Oh, man. I don't know, man. Lamar 205, so I don't think we worried about that. Yep, seeing the light. Yeah, man. Oh, one more thing before we get out of here. Do I even want to address this? Riri said, yep. I don't even know if I want to address this, man. All right. So the report came out from Zach Selby of the Commanders. He's sort of like a like us as far as not local media in a sense, but like a podcaster. I also think he writes, but it's all for the Commanders. I believe that's how it works. So he was saying how the Commanders are okay with like Cornelius Lucas at left tackle, and Dan Quinn or Adam Peters kind of mentioned that early in the year. Like, I'm good with Trent Scott and Corn. You know, they kind of said that, and that's what it kind of looks like. They kind of actually, because we went with Brandon Coleman in the third round. Some other guys was on the board, and it also looks like Wiley is right now still going to be the right tackle. All right, so let's go back to last year. The offensive line on paper, previous production as a whole doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. It didn't look good last year. But my hope wasn't about Leno or the O-line is going to prove everybody wrong. It was about Eric Bieniemy doing things, scheming things, not to mask the inefficiencies of the O-line as a whole. We believe he had, I believe he had his what's the word I'm looking for? He showed that in Kansas City. Kansas City ain't had the best O-line. They were either masculine, and they had Mahomes too. So that's a whole different thing. And remember, a lot of their stuff was all script. Let's not even go that far. So I believe that he would be able to mask a lot of things. And the one thing that we found out pretty quickly is that he refused not to. And what are these things to mask it, right? Running the ball consistently, right? Play action, which helps with play action, right? Running the ball, play action helps because the DNs just cannot pin their ears back and come after the ball because they know you're passing so much. Also, screens, delayed screens, move in the pocket, bootlegs. It was a point last year we did, because I was counting, like 6 sprint outs. They were all 6 for 6. They averaged over 12 yards. And we did that like 6 times all the way up to like week 16. I think we did it a few more times after that. But you don't go to that. Shovel passes. You don't go to that. You don't do anything to help mask the O-line deficiencies. We didn't have an O-line that could take running the ball passing the ball 6 straight times and that's not the type of line we had. So fast forward into this year, I am still concerned about the O-line. I'm still concerned about the left tackle. I'm still concerned about Wiley. I think the 3 guys in the middle, I'm not as concerned about. I think having the middle of the O-line better, I think they're going to be much better than last year. that'll help. Because a lot of times, if you do get pressure up on the edges, your quarterback can kind of step up a little. He wasn't able to step up last year. Even when we would go max protection, the max protection in any or most teams is specifically for a player that's kind of dominating, or you want to set something out different. For us, the max protector is looking at who's going to get beat first across the whole O-line. Like, do I have to jump across, come across the quarterback's face? Am I have to step in front of the quarterback? That's what's our max protections. So this year, I have the same hope. Is that Cliff, Anthony Lynn, Brian, those guys will be able to scheme up a way to minimize the offensive tackle's time blocking, especially one-on-one. And I go running the ball, quick screens. So we know Cliff, he began to run the ball. Like, he had 1,000-yard backs. He had those guys in Arizona. Like, he loves the screen game. All of those things help. So that's my hope. Did I want them to dress tackle? Yeah, I mean, check my 2 mocks that I did. I had them going tackle. The right tackle, I picked the right tackle every single time I did a mock. And those 2 mocks I was talking about, like a separate from the ones we did on shows. I had us going right tackle every single time with like the 4th round pick or one of the thirds. Even the left tackle, yes. But this is what we had. So now, instead of complaining and saying they're going to be so bad, we're not going to be able to be successful, we're not going to be able to pass the ball, we're going to get Jaden Daniels hurt and all that, come up with a way or discuss a way to help with that. Because you can't tell me a team can't be successful if they have 2 bad tackles. We've seen quarterbacks go all the way to the Super Bowl, leading the league in sacks. We've seen quarterbacks win game with multiple sacks. We've seen quarterbacks have winning records. Teams have winning records with horrible O-lines. We've seen it. You don't want to bank on that. No. But you want to bank on an offensive coordinator understanding that your O-line is not good or your tackles is not good. Corn Lucas have been a swing tackle all these years for a reason. He's come in a game or 2 or a few plays for a reason. But in the draft, Adam Peters kept telling you, he's shown he's going to pick the player that he believes is the best that'll help this team out. And that's what he did. You wanted him to do it. Then when he did it, you get mad that he did it because he didn't do what you wanted to do. Now you're upset that he did it. But hey, fandom has no intelligence. And no, I'm not saying that Bakari, whatever his name, I'm not saying that he can't play. But what I do know is he hasn't played. He hasn't played since Trump was in administration, right? He hasn't played since the stadiums, when the stadiums were empty with COVID. He hasn't played. Now he's going around from person to person, tweet to tweet, article to article saying, I'm going to be ready. He's not even ready right now. He's not ready right now. He's going to be. Oh my gosh. Names, because of the name, Pro Bowl, what he used to be. Oh gosh. Come on, man. We got to do better. All right, let me get to some of these contents. Let me get some of these content comments. Time to eat, baby. Bam, nailed it. I've been to home games and he's never even he ain't even been to home games. Nah, come on, man. You know what it is. This iced tea lemon, that's just iced tea lemonade mix, man. That's what this cup is. My folks from DC know what I'm talking about. Crazy. Play, drink, come true, watch the Skins game at home. Yeah, man. Come on through, Jared. Come on through. Week 2, man. I think there's still some tickets available. Come through, man. Yeah, it's cold, Bulls. Oh, yeah, we was in Denver last year at the game. We should have helped Sam. Oh, we want to talk about it, James. Yeah, man. Yeah, they did. They got us, man. Let's rock and roll, man. I think that's about it. Man. Be sure to those that are watching on Twitter or Facebook, that's not subscribe. Please subscribe to the channel. Please share. Hit your notifications so when we go live, it'll bing for you. Got the clothing line is going to be out next couple days. So I'm definitely excited for that, to be able to bring that out. Hopefully you all support like you always been. I definitely appreciate all you guys' support, for real. COVID happened, like I've always wanted. I used to watch them guys on ESPN every morning getting ready for school and all that, and we used to be excited, man. I was like, man, I can do that one day. I would love to do that one day. And it just seemed so far. It just seemed like a far away dream. I was able to get into look. I love coaching. I loved it. I love being a coordinator. I love it. I'm gonna tell y'all about some of the stories that I have about coaching, man. But I never thought that I would be here, like being able to do this. It started off rocky. I did a couple episodes and I waited like almost a whole year to do more. I was dibbling and dabbling all over, and they're all here. Like if you go on YouTube, you scroll all the way down, like you'll see the beginning episode. Like y'all got time, just look at them for a little bit. I was kind of all over the place, but I kept doing it because I really wanted to do it. I really love to do this. That's why you hear me all the time say, do it because you love it, not because it loves you. Because if you wanted to love you, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do it long. That's why, when I talk to people about people that want to do this, people that want to that want the podcast, they want to talk sports, they want to do this. Like you have to be honest with yourself. What are you doing this for? What are you doing this for? Are you doing it to get paid? Are you doing it to have a lot of followers? Are you doing it for respect? Are you doing it for notoriety? What are you doing it for? And whatever the reason you're doing it for, the one thing that you have to understand is that you have to love doing it. You have to love doing it. Because most of the time it's not going to love you back. It's not going to love you back. And if something doesn't love you back, you kind of start getting discouraged. You don't want to be around it anymore. So, now just keep grinding. Protect your brand. Know what you want, know who you are. And I've been able to meet so many people, talk to so many people that I never thought I would be able to, man. I had Doc Walker on here a couple years ago, like my uncles, my dad, and all that. I was like, what? What? Took pictures with Doug Williams. Like, I never thought I'd be here, but I'm glad that I am. I thank Jesus for it. For sure. But again, I definitely appreciate all you guys' support, man, the whole team. We moving, man. You see, On the Huddle is going to start up in a few weeks, start back up. Enters the Lab, starting back up. Can't wait, man. Glenn, Loud and Wrong, about to get rocking with his podcast. 405 and his brother, about to start back up. They podcast. We got the Trenches, the NFC East podcast with Trail and them. Like, is popping, man. It's about to get popping. Red Zone in UK gonna be coming back in September. Can't wait for that. Backboard Hoops, all DC basketball, AAU, NBA, WNBA, like all that's gonna be here sometime in October. Like, it's a lot, man. We can't wait, man. We're very appreciative. I'm very appreciative for all you guys' support, man. My man Breeze is about to start his own podcast. What was it? Cooling with Breeze. We were talking about all types of things. Like, it's big, man. It's big, man. So I'm definitely excited, man. Let's get to these. So he comes to high school team. Look at Glenn. Hey, it's 11:30. Where you been at? There's always from full bandwagon fan where we don't discriminate. But yeah, man, like, just let him back. Had me awake at 8:30. Like, where's dude? What are you talking about, yeah? 8:30. Oh man. Yeah, he do. And I'm not, so when we first hired him, like CeeLo, no, I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be bad. We had all these other, I said, yeah, he was a friend hire. But I'm okay, CeeLo, because, and look, man, like, I don't like CeeLo. You know, I'm gonna be honest, because most of the stuff he say end up coming true. Yeah, I hate that dude. Yeah, and he said with such like, all right, I'm just saying, it might. I'm just saying, don't be surprised. I'm just saying. I'm like, man, I hate this dude. Yeah, he right. But like, having Anthony Lynn and having Brian John, like, having those guys in the building, it helped. It helped me a little more with that, because I know they're going to be involved. Like, we have so many coaches with different roles that I know they'll be able to spend some time with him. So I'm not as concerned. Appreciate y'all, man, for sure. Simp, yeah, man, Simp. What's up, Dan? I talk sports because it's my hobby and my enjoyment for myself and yeah, that's what it is, man. Yeah, like it is for sure, and whatever, and as men's, what is it? What is Men's Mental Health Month? And a lot of times, sports takes us away from the cares of this world. It does. It takes us away, man. And this is why you do it. It's all love, man. All love. All love. They can't. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. All right, man. I think that's all I had. I want to react to that. I don't think we're gonna have a brunch. It's gonna be a brunch, Riri. I know she her duties. She just posted a picture. She back in track on the side on that heat. She look at her. I need to cut my nail. He's crazy. Cut the and go to the nail. I gotta call up Lucy. Lucy, I am on the way. I am on the way. Yeah, man. I think that's it. Definitely appreciate y'all. We definitely appreciate your time. For you to use your time with us, we definitely appreciate it. Remember, do it because you love it, not because it loves you. One beat, one sound, one heart, one love.